right, welcome guests and visiting Rotarians, Alyssa.
All right, we do have a returning visitor, Rachel. Thank you for coming back. If you wouldn't mind reminding us your full name, where you work, and let's see, your favorite water sport.
Okay. About that. Well, my name is Rachel. I'm still attending Rotarian meetings to get a sense of what's going on here, but I think I can apply.
Yeah. Yeah.
I work at Sherwood University, Landfill, Sherwood, whatever. I'm in the Fine Arts Center and I'm the programming coordinator there. Favorite water sport? Just swimming. I just really love swimming. A lifeguard for many years and it's really stressful. Much fish. Oh, thank you.
Thanks for coming back. We also have, not to put you on the spot, Nate, if you wouldn't mind telling us your full name, where you work, and your favorite water sport.
So my name is Nick. I work at Kelsen Buffer, and I guess I don't know. I would say dry.
Legit. All right, and then we do have another young Rotarian. We have little Noah. Aww. Super cute. I don't think he's taken swim lessons yet, though.
No, not quite.
No. But thank you for bringing him.
Yeah.
He's very cute.
All right, very good. All right, Ellie, who is joining us virtually?
Laura Lee is on virtually.
Laura is on. Okay, thank you. All right, and just a reminder for everyone that is making announcements tonight to come up here and speak in front of the owl for those that are online so that they can hear. July birthdays, I think we reviewed these at the last meeting, but happy birthday to Neil, who joined us on his birthday at our last meeting. Phil, who's here tonight, you had a birthday since our last meeting. And then Spencer, who had a birthday yesterday. So happy birthday. And then again, Rotary anniversaries. See them here. Larry, 48 years. Mandy Richardson, 11. Lene and myself, 7 years. Caitlin, 3 years. And Liz Filter, 3 years. All right, service announcements. I'm sorry, Caitlin, do you want to do it or?
Yeah. Okay. Irish Fest is August 12th through 14th. You can sign up directly with Irish Fest. I sent out that link and I can send it out again. August 15th is a Monday at 5:30. 5 to 8. We'll be at Trinity Lutheran helping out with their block party. Phil has made it sound super fun, so I'm excited for that. It's going to be awesome. At the end of August, we're going to do the Rice Pantry with the Hmong Cultural Center. They do this once a month. Actually, they've been doing it since COVID started. And so we need some strong men and women to help us out with that. We'll be loading 25-pound bags of rice into cars. It is a kind of weird time. I think it's 10:30 to 1:30, but it's a Friday, so it should be a really good event. That's August 26th, and there's also another one on the 16th of September. And then Mobile Meal, September 19th through the 25th, and Oktoberfest. Still need to set that event up, so we'll see.
More information coming in.
Yes,
Thank you, Caitlin. All right. I just wanted to let you guys know, I sent out an email, I think this morning, about the STAR meeting. So that's for newer members typically. They can go, they have the breakfast goodies, and I think coffee. It's at the parenting place, and they will talk about evidence of service, the Rotary Foundation, and the Rotary Works Foundation. Anyone is really welcome to go. It's not just for new members, but it's a great way to meet Rotarians and other clubs and just learn more about Rotary as a whole. Some of the things that we aren't able to always cover in our meetings. So I would encourage you to attend. In the email I sent out, there was a link to register. So please do that if you want to attend. And you don't have the email, just let me know and I can help you. social announcements. I will do that, because Marissa had left. You will be getting an email about this, but St. Clair Health Mission, you may have remembered, I don't know, it was 2 years ago or so, we raised money. All the Rotary clubs in the community helped raise money, as well as got a district grant to help purchase this Rotary clinic that will go out to, I believe, Arcadia and Tacoma, as well as some of the other outlying areas. And they are going to pick it up, I think, in Ohio at the end of this week, and they are doing a reveal at Moon Tunes next Thursday. So you're invited to attend. There will be a ribbon cutting around 6:30. So, but there will be an email coming out. And then Avenues of Service. Again, this is a great event. All the Rotary clubs get together and celebrate the different projects we do. Rotarians of the Year, Rising Star. It's a really great event. It's at the La Crosse Country Club on Tuesday, August 16th. So that is an off meeting or off Tuesday, so we don't have a meeting at 5:30. And I'm sure that there will be many Rotarians attending. I know that there's been a couple already. So. All right, save the date. So we do finally have a date confirmed for our mini Masters fundraiser Thursday, September 22nd at Riverside Amusement. For those of you that aren't familiar with it, we do teams of 4, the mini golf. I think there's 2 different time slots because we had so many people interested in the past. And the money raised helps support our youth exchange program. So you might remember from our last meeting that Mari from Japan will be joining us starting August 10th. And so this helps support that program and all that we do. And just a reminder that I sent out an email yesterday to get background checks completed. So that's just something that if you're going to spend any one-on-one time with our exchange student, you need to have one done. The club covers the cost and it's good for 1 year. Any questions so far? All right, very quickly, I received an email over the weekend, I believe, and I just thought you guys might be interested. As you know, one of Rotary's big things is to eradicate polio. Unfortunately, there was a case in New York recently, and it was someone that was unvaccinated, but there is concern about that spreading, and they're looking into it. But I just thought that because that's one of the things that we work to support polio eradication, that you guys should be aware. So, all right. Upcoming committee meetings. I won't go through all of these, but we really encourage our members to get involved on different committees. These are kind of the list of committee meetings that are coming up and the people that you can contact if you're interested in participating. A lot of them happen on Zoom or before or after a meeting, so it's pretty convenient to attend. Membership is meeting this afternoon or after this meeting here briefly, so feel free to stick around and join for that. All right, any other announcements? And not to put you on the spot, but I know you joined us a little bit late and you're a guest. So if you want to just stand up and say your name and where you're from when you finish your food.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Tyler Lovell-Holst. I'm originally from Sparta, Wisconsin, but I'm living in Alaska currently, and I'm working in Holman.
Very good. Well, thank you for joining us.
Somebody left this shirt several weeks ago at Meter after we did the interview things. Was that anybody's? Okay.
Very good. Any other announcements or lost and found items that need to be? All right, very good. We are going to do a member pinning, but we're going to do that at the end of the meeting. So just hang tight when we wrap up. But anyways, without further ado, we have Kari here from Girl Lacrosse, and she has a presentation to go through. So welcome, Kari. Just give us a second.
Do a switcheroo. See what pops up. Those are my two beautiful daughters. They would be thrilled that they're on the screen right now. All right. Ta-da, thanks to all the tech support before this. Thank you, Ashley. So I'm Kari Braley. I'm Executive Director of Rural Crosse. And I am so glad to be here to talk with you. I know that we have a connection this spring. You were a sponsor for our plant sales. So we had some rock star volunteers that helped at our event. So we are so thankful for that and for that sponsorship. Rural Crosse's mission is connecting youth or children to healthy food and nature. That is through hands-on garden-based experiences. Use my little clicker hopefully here. I have lots of pictures in here because pictures tell a lot. I would love to have you all in the gardens with me, seeing it for yourselves, which could be an option sometimes. So I do want to put that out there. But I do have a lot of pictures just because we really have some very rich experiences with children in gardens. Our vision is to develop and deliver innovative garden-based programming that inspires youth, families, and the community to grow, choose, and prepare foods that nourish minds and bodies. So who are we? We are celebrating 10 years. It's a grassroots organization. It started in a friend's in her living room. Our children were young. She and our children were starting school, and we were talking about how, you know, food was important to us and what we fed our children. I'm an educator, so I knew I'd worked in schools, and I knew that there was a lot of work to try to get healthy food into the cafeterias and into snacks. But at the same time felt like maybe things weren't moving fast enough in that regard. So she and I were talking, Ann Seehafer is her name. And we were trying to figure out what would be the best route to try to figure out how to get that healthy food into schools quicker and how to support that. And so we decided to gather other stakeholders, so other parents, local healthcare workers, principals, teachers, just to get a sense of, like, is this something that other people want? Or is this just us? And so through those conversations, really found that others were interested and that people were feeling passionate, but not sure how to go about it. So we did some research, and that was the time kind of after Michelle Obama's whole, you know, like move to get kids moving. And so that, you know, there were a lot of school gardens that were popping up. And so there had been some momentum. There was some research out there that was showing that, you know, children who experienced gardens were increasing their intake of fresh fruit and vegetables. So we thought, hey, that might be key. She and I both like to garden. We aren't not a master gardener, but we liked growing food, having our kids in the gardens with us. And so we thought, you know, what is a way we can work with schools and reach the most amount of kids? And that really was through schools. Most children are in, you know, public or private schools. And so we decided to talk with actually State Road Elementary School here in La Crosse was the first school we talked with. The principal was really excited. And so that's really where we started our first garden. And actually we're able to create some garden beds, but then actually a hoop house. So like a temporary greenhouse that still is standing. Well, we did have to repair it once, but it is still standing, about 9.5 years later. So we just decided that, you know, schools was where we wanted to start that. Several times throughout the process, because, you know, neither of us had had nonprofit work, we didn't know how to start these things. Again, like surrounding ourselves with people that maybe had those skills. And so there were times along the way though, that with any kind of change, right, there's red tape. There's things that are hard. You're working with a big public system, you know, just change is hard. So there were times when we thought, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? This was all volunteer, you know, that kind of thing. And there were times we thought, you know, an easier way might have been to like pass get a bunch of signatures from parents saying we want change. But we decided to like be a part of the change, which maybe was the harder way, but we feel like it's paid off in the end. And we've had amazing people who have helped us get there. In 2014, we did establish gardens at a couple of Hamilton Soda Elementary School as well. And then at that point, we were able to officially become a 501c3 nonprofit in 2014. So at that point, we had been working under Hillview Urban Agriculture Center as our fiscal agent. And so we were able to get grant funding and that kind of thing up to that point. But in 2014 is when we became official and we're able to kind of, you know, get those things on our own. And then at that point also, Mayo Health System was our corporate sponsor. And so that really helped us, you know, boost us and get us going. We're very thankful for that. So I kind of talked about that research, kind of doubling when they have that experience of planting, tending to, harvesting and cooking with that produce, that they're going to have a buy-in, right? One of the things that was found in the research was that, you know, okay, so kids, we put this healthy stuff on their tray and it goes right into the garbage. Because if they don't have experiences with it, why would they necessarily try those Brussels sprouts or even an apple? Honestly, it's interesting how many kids don't even have those things we, you know, think as so common, that they don't even have those experiences. I was hearing about a girl who's, I think, 10, and she was trying watermelon for her first time this summer. And I thought, wow, amazing. So we're supported by an amazing board of directors. Here are our most recent people, some familiar faces possibly. We've had a turnover. We've had several people who stuck through the pandemic with us. Probably it was time for them to be offboarding, but they stuck with us. But now we've got some really exciting new folks who are supporting us. Of course, we're always looking for amazing people who feel passionate about the work or have specific skill sets. So there's always those opportunities. We've been able to grow our team. We've added several schools in the last several years. And so here's just some of the faces of the people who are doing the work with students in the gardens. The two that are on the bottom there in the green shirts, we have interns who work with us. And so that's 2 of our summer interns. So there's a couple different ways that we carry out our mission. So I talked about the school gardens. Right now, although we're adding one currently right now this summer, but we have 8 garden sites that we help to maintain, and then we also do programming. So that was a big key for us, is that we didn't want to just put a garden someplace and not have kids have more structured experiences. And so we have programs and we have lessons that we have our garden educators come in and do with every single class in the school. So like in the fall now, students will have 3 times that they'll come out for formal lessons. They're always invited to go with their teachers other times, but we as GROW, we offer those lessons to students. We also have greenhouse field trips, and I'll talk about this a little bit more in a second, but we've gained greenhouse space on Western Technical College's campus. That's amazing. And that was with a merger we did with Hillview Urban Agriculture. It was in 2020 that we actually merged with them. And so we couldn't use the greenhouse there for a little bit, but we have just now piloted this winter greenhouse field trips. So we had several classes come in. We had stations learning about the inner workings of this high-tech greenhouse, different types of growing, hydroponics, that kind of thing. So we did a lot of hands-on experiences for them. So that's a new thing for us. Farm field trips, we from the beginning have, we've collaborated with Deep Roots Community Farm. It's owned by Anna and Andy Skemp. And it's this beautiful, idyllic farm that's about 10 miles outside of Crosse. And so now, like right now, they're finishing up 4 weeks of farm camps that we've done in collaboration with the school district. So they're free farm camps for kiddos to sign up for, to come and experience farm camp. It's not overnight. Somebody did ask me that. It's not overnight, but for a week of daily experiences. And then we also, some of our other ways that we do our programming, summer open gardens. We have Tuesdays and Thursdays that we rotate to all of our gardens, and we offer some kind of fun experience. So one of our interns, Cameron, she is kind of running the show with that. And so it's 2 hours where kiddos and families actually can come and do like a craft or an activity in the garden. I think they're doing a weed scavenger hunt, maybe as we speak right now at Hamilton School. And then they get to harvest and take whatever home they want. So, and then kids cooking challenge, something we developed during the pandemic. So it was an online thing that kids could sign up for. They would have mystery bags that they would pick up at the greenhouse, and then they had to go home and make something with that. They could add a few ingredients, but and then they could enter that into then a contest. And we had culinary students from Western Technical College who then, of course, we couldn't do the tasting, but by looks, by all the, their criteria, whatever it is, they chose winners. And so it was just, we've done 4 now, and it's been a huge hit. So something else we've added. Just a little quick, so we do collaborate with the local schools. So basically what happens, how do we do that? So a school might be interested, so they kind of inquire about it. They create a garden committee. We help them, if they don't have a garden established, we'll help them with that plan, kind of help facilitate that. If a school already has a garden, we might just kind of facilitate maybe changing things up a little bit. And then we create a contract. So it's a contract kind of thing with that particular school. And then we recently have kind of started requesting that schools for sustainability purposes, that they commit to 5 years with us. Again, that's not set in stone, but we do, because we feel like, being able to establish that relationship, that sustainability over time is super important. So I talked about those lessons. So we have curriculum connected lessons. So many things can be learned in the garden. So science, we do taste testing. We've done literature in the garden. The idea of caring work, mindfulness, and even kind of addressing some of those adverse childhood experiences, the trauma. We've actually been able to kind of introduce, even kind of demonstrate to teachers some of the things that they can do with their students when they go into the garden. So that's something we've also started to incorporate. So here's just some, again, pictures, photos. Show you a lot of those today. So just neat experiences. You could see we made pickles. We have lettuce wraps that the children made. We learn about pollinators. So here's just, I'm going to show you just a couple of slides of just our different gardens. So this is Hamilton Soda 1 Community School. We have a garden space that's a little bit separate from the school grounds. And then we have an edible schoolyard. You see that arbor. So on 7th Street, if you go by the school, you'll see right now, it looks very different than that. It is exploded in terms of fruit trees, berry bushes, and that kind of thing. And the idea of that is that for anyone
for kids walking by, going into school, or anybody walking by, they can come and pick. It's kind of like the YMCA in front of that, where the idea is it really is for anyone to come. And we've witnessed some pretty neat things, kids that are usually reluctant to go into school, who then hop along and through the bushes and are happy to go into school. So it's been kind of a neat, just like soft landing into school, which I think has been pretty neat to see. We're also across the river, La Crosse Topa Elementary School. And the fun thing is that each space has its own personality. So like, obviously there's different, each school has different schoolyard, different setting. Hamilton Soda was a very urban setting, whereas like State Road, you've got woods all around and that kind of thing. Here's that house I was talking about. One of our newer schools is Northwoods International. Hinchin Elementary School. Coon Valley Elementary. So we travel a little ways down to their existing garden. So that's been fun to kind of work in that space and in a smaller school setting too. We're also at Gunderson Health System Child Care Center. So we get to work with the wee little ones, which I think they had lessons this morning. And I think they had a good old time. So even the 2-year-olds. Because of our merger with Hillview and then some partnership with Mayo Health System, we have been able to be growing in the hoop house that's in the Washburn Community Garden. And so that's been a space that we've had a lot of volunteers come. Lincoln Middle School is right there too. And so we have been able to incorporate some of the teachers there have been really interested in getting their students just doing, physical work too and learning. So we've been able to bring the students in that space as well. But any of that produce then goes into, I didn't mention this before, but a lot of the produce does go into the school cafeterias. So we will harvest and bring that in and they will do whatever, and a lot of things that we grow really are things that can go on a salad bar because they don't have the capability to do lots of baking and that kind of thing. But, the kale, tomatoes, peppers, basil, cucumbers, that kind of thing. I kind of talked about that merger. So that's given us this opportunity to be in the greenhouse space. Here's some pictures of the greenhouse field trips that I was telling you about. It's a lovely place to work in the middle of winter. I love to just bring my computer in there and we've got the green. So I invite you to come visit us during that time. This is an example. We partnered with La Crosse Polytechnic High School. We had a group of students who came, learned about hydroponics, and then they designed their own hydroponic system. So you can kind of see it there with the tubing. And so they kind of ran out of time. So the hope now come fall, so there's holes in there where they're going to put the plugs in of, different lettuces and that kind of thing. So the hope is to be able to really test it out this fall. So just again, this collaboration, we have this space, we get to invite them in, teach them a little, and then they get to kind of roll with it. Talked about the farm experiences. We have a couple weeks now coming up where we have an art camp and a budding scientist camp. And those are fee-based camps, although we were able to get a grant through the Women's Fund to help give some scholarships. Talked about that summer programming, that's some of our open garden, kids cooking challenge. Look at those. Look at those faces. Look at those offerings. And then, like I talked about, I talked about interns, and that really, we rely so much on our interns, and we are lucky to have these, 3 main institutions here in La Crosse that we can pull from. So we have nutrition students who come and are interns. We have public health majors and community health majors that come, and they usually commit to like a season, spring, fall, or summer. We've started having full-time preceptees from UWL. And so this summer, Cameron is working full-time. She's the only person that works full-time in our organization. But she's doing a tremendous job. So we feel really fortunate and lucky. You talked about, you know, opportunities for volunteering. We oftentimes have those opportunities. And so I'll talk about that a little bit more. But just in general, our funding, we do our own fundraisers. We have a plant sale in the spring, and then we have a big event coming up on August 25th at Myrick Center. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. We find business sponsors to either obviously sponsor our events, but then also who sponsor our gardens. And so we've had a couple that have actually committed to 5 years of sponsorship for a garden. And so that's really exciting because again, that sustainability of not having to seek funding every year is super helpful. We look to foundations and we write up the grants. And then we have community and family donations that we rely on as well. When we collaborate with the school, we do ask the school to have some financial buy-in. And so the PTOs oftentimes are coming with at least a third of the cost that it would be to have a programming person there, the maintenance, kind of everything wrapped together. So we do ask that they have a financial part in that, or sometimes principals will look for some curriculum money and that kind of thing, or they hold their own fundraisers to kind of bring that. So, oh yes.
Can you tell us what the cost is for a garden per year? Like what's the aim?
Yeah, so it depends a little bit on the size of the school, just because we kind of base it a little bit on the number of students, how many hours it's going to be to see all the students in the school. Usually I say about $7,000 to have an educator who's, you know, doing all of the lessons. We have maintenance people who are helping to maintain, helping to get volunteer people in and that kind of thing. And then they also do like community days with the school community as well. So that's kind of everything wrapped in is about $7,000. So. The Break Road Get Together, August 25th. We had our first one last year in September. And this one is at Myrick Center. So that used to be the Eco Park Center. Beautiful setting. We're going to have music. We have food. So the food performance food group is helping us with that. Formerly Reinhardt. All still the same. It's confusing, but so they're going to help prepare food, but the food is based on the Kids Cooking Challenge winners. So those recipes are going to be, they're going to kind of, you know, mimic those recipes, and that will be, you know, so like a bruschetta bar and that kind of thing. So, so there'll be silent auction, raffles, kids games. So it is family friendly. So there'll be outdoor, indoor activities happening. And we're looking for volunteers. So I think Bonnie sent you some information about that. So there is a sign up. So if anybody's looking for that, we would just ask that if you volunteer, then you'll get a free ticket in. So always looking for, otherwise just come. It'll be super fun. I talked about the plant sale. And then these are just, we wouldn't be able to do our work without our sponsorship. So that's just, you know, those are all examples of people who help support the work that we do. This is just our strategic plan. So if anyone's really interested in looking at that, it is on our website, but that's something we worked hard on this last year to really kind of refocus. And so the areas that we're really looking at are that programming, the fundraising piece, the marketing, and then also collaboration and partnership. So that's been really great as a team to kind of really keep us focused. And then, so I'm gonna kind of leave you with a quote. I've been reading this book, which it's called The Well-Gardened Mind. But I just thought this was, when we think about the impact on students, I thought this was really impactful. Tilling the earth and growing produce can give rise to a sense of effectiveness. in a world in which it seems to be getting harder and harder for young people to feel they can be effective at anything. So empowering students, empowering families, empowering ourselves. You know, maybe you are gardeners out there, maybe you just like to have someone else growing it and you support going to the farmer's market, or just, you know, whatever it is. I think just doing your part in that. So I think that's it. I don't know, how did I do on time? Did I do okay? Yeah. I could talk about it forever, so I did try to shorten it. Are there questions? I might have missed some things, but. Couple. Yes.
Is there a specific age range of kids that you typically work with?
Yeah, good question. So
Can you repeat that?
Oh,
for
I'm
the
sorry.
people on the-
Yes. Yes. So the question is there an age group that we typically work with? And yes, we mostly have done kindergarten through 5th grade, but we are now dabbling in more middle school, and like with the Polytech, it's high school as well. So we say youth now because we really, like, we started with children, right? And so now it's more, we've expanded to youth just because we really are getting into those, you know, work with teenagers as well. Yeah. Yes.
I was just gonna.
Oh.
No.
No. Danielle.
Did your farm camps all fill up quickly? I just know I have.
Yes.
another farm, but like, have a lot of trouble getting their kids.
Yes.
to summer programs.
Yeah, yeah. So, yep, so the school district, you know, so it's with their offerings, we've kind of collaborated with them. So it is hard, like within 3 minutes,
Yeah.
those are filled, which is amazing and wonderful. I think that it's hard because it's on someone's home property. And so to think about, we used to I think offer like 8 weeks of farm camp, you know, throughout the summer. I think we did 4 this year. I think the pandemic, you know, I think just kind of adjusting back from that. I think just it's hard to offer too many. We don't want to burn staff out as well, because it's, you know, you're outside with lots of kids all day long. But it is exciting. So, you know, we are offering these other fee-based camps. You know, the hope is maybe in future to be able to do more, but it's neat that it's so, that people want it so much, right? So yeah, thinking of ways to be able to expand that. So yeah. Did you have another question? Or?
Oh, yeah, I was just wondering, like, when schools pick up to be a participant in
Right.
the program, they have to contribute so much money, but then
Right.
it's actually doing the work.
Right, right. That's a great question. So we're kind of helping to oversee it, but you know, it's really important that the school community sees it as their garden, not our garden. And I think sometimes there can be that because we're coming in and we're helping and we're doing programming. So I think there's that fine line, but we really try to, you know, get to the families to, or teachers and their children to be able to come out and do the work in the garden as well. I think what's happened is that, you know, people, like a teacher will start a garden and feel so passionate about it, but then they retire or they leave, and then you're left with this garden that's amazing, but then nobody really wants to take it on. So we see ourselves as kind of that steady, or that, you know, that sustained piece that no matter what, we'll be there, and maybe our staffing will change, but we will always provide someone to be there. So that's kind of what we really do. We try to get as many families in there working in the garden as possible, because it is that community's garden. Yeah. That's a good question. It was a fine line.
Just think of all my teacher friends, and they're already overworked. and
Yes.
stressed, and
Yeah.
I know I love to have a garden at the time. for
Right.
us.
And I think that's what we want teachers to see it as. We want to empower them to that they can bring their students out there and connect really any kind, you know, anything that they're doing in the garden, or just go read or whatever it is. But we wanted to make sure that they saw it as not something extra that they had to do. So that's why we're kind of coming in with that programming. We're demonstrating. So if they want to, you know, do something more or take it further, they can. But we are essentially, we're those extra people, right, that are in, and we're not hired by the school district, but we are. I always like to, when I was teaching within the program, I always like to see myself as an extra caring adult that was with these students that, you know, yes, I had standards that I needed to, you know, upheld, but at the same time, I wasn't a school employee. And so just an extra adult. And, you know, I think, yeah, so lots of behaviors kind of subside in the garden. It was interesting, like teachers would be like, what? He was so focused in the garden, he never could focus, but he was focused, you know, it's just amazing to kind of have that be the case. So, but anyway, so not wanting to put that on teachers as something, just another tool for teachers to use. Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
on behalf of the club, I would like to thank you for presenting today.
Oh, well,
The
thank
word
you.
grow can mean so many different ways to develop, and to see what your organization is doing to nourish the kids in so many different ways. It's really nice, and we'll plan on supporting as much as we can.
Yeah.
My 8-year-old daughter Sophia loves to watch cooking channel shows on Netflix, and so the cooking channel thing really grabbed me.
Yes.
There are lots of
Yeah.
things you presented on grab various people in our club. And
Right.
we'd love to be there to support.
Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah. So. I have some info and some stickers if anyone's interested.
Well, thank you, Kari. I know my work at Mayo has helped to kind of, I've got to know what Grow does and the amazing things that they do. And they've really worked hard to make sure that it's impactful for the kids in our community and that it's not just one more thing. I know they have a lot of different opportunities to volunteer. I think you had stuff for the summer to go help water and do garden maintenance and stuff. So if there's ever something you are looking for that you can't have your own garden or you can't commit, you know, to a thing, a multi-day thing, I think you can just do it once or twice.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of different opportunities to be involved. So thank you.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
All right, so I apologize. I had the presentation in.
Oh, yeah.
Second. All right, so we're gonna end our meeting today by getting a couple new members. So I'm gonna have Alyssa come up as the chair. Oh, I got it. Of membership committee.
So yes, we have some new members, some not so new, but are being pinned as new members coming in today. When I call your name, come up front, we'll give you your certificate, your pin, and if you could stay for a photo afterwards, that'd be really nice. So first up, we have Margarita.
Oh, no worries. Thank you.
Do we want to? Are we gonna take a picture?
I thought.
Okay. Okay. I'll do it. Okay. This is us. We'll take a group at a time.
Here's your rotary pin. And then your name badge should be here before the next meeting.
No worries. Thank you all. Hang out over there.
Sure.
Yes.
That works.
All right, next we have Kelly Goyette.
It doesn't mean you're.
It's too much.
All right, and then we have Cullen Lucas. And little Noah too. No wonder you're
I'm so
so
excited. I get a shiny thing. Very good, all right.
Yes.
Everybody,
Picture
I
quick?
want picture.
Yes.
And then we'll get a single one with Kelly.
Get the cute baby in the middle. Get the cute baby in the middle. I'm gonna go this way so we can get that. Sorry, Brandon. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Should we
Got it.
look at Erin too?
Oh, yeah.
I always.
Awesome.
Thank you guys.
Welcome to our
Thank you.
newest member.
You put more to Ryan Bible, who isn't able to join us tonight, so. All right, well, I think that wraps it up unless anyone has anything else. We have the 4-way test, 5-way test. All right, oh, next meeting, August 9th here, it will be the new Rotary year, so Imagine Rotary. And we're gonna do a little youth presentation. Don't miss it. All right, so of all the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Is it fun?
All right, and very quickly, membership is meeting after this, so you're welcome to stick around. James is not here tonight, so I don't know if there's a social after the meeting, but someone is welcome to organize something. I'm sure people will join. So, thank you all.